In this tutorial, let us see the web HTTP to WebSocket upgrade feature in Ballerina. As you know, the initial request for any WebSocket upgrade is an HTTP request. So in Ballerina, we are not trying to hide the HTTP request unless it is only pure WebSocket that you need to handle. So we have provided a WebSocket upgrade resource in the HTTP service that listens on the HTTP port, so that the HTTP up to WebSocket upgrade is visible. So any user who wants to use the same port to connect to HTTP and WebSocket can use this resource. So here in this service we have two resources. One of them is HTTP and the other is the upgrade resource. So the upgrade resource has this annotation and the HTTP resource has this annotation. When you have this upgrade resource annotation, you cannot have other parameters in the upgrade resource. So here we have the WebSocket upgrade, and the upgrade path, you can specify a path parameter here. Here address and CT are path parameters, and the upgrade service is defined here, that is specified here in this service. So when I can access these path parameters as strings in the resource with the same name as the path parameter, you can give any value to these path parameters. Each of these values will hit this resource, and here is the HTTP caller and HTTP request, that is same as the HTTP resource. So if you want to access a custom header from the HTTP request, you can use it as you would do for an HTTP. You can say check if it has the header, the custom header name, and you can get the header value. And here I am comparing to see if that value is re-alpha. If that is the case, I am upgrading the allowing the WebSocket upgrade, that is complete the handshake. If not, I am cancelling the handshake. This function can be used if you want to have access to the caller in the WebSocket service resources. So you get access to the caller once the upgrade is successful. Here in the upgrade resource takes a map that is a that takes custom headers. You can send back custom headers to the client. You can get custom headers from the client using this parameter, and you can send custom headers back to the client using the map here. Once I have got these values, I am setting it to as attributes to the caller, so I can access them here in the service, WebSocket service. So I can also access the query parameters from the request. So I am getting the age parameter as which is a query parameter, and you can also see this cancel WebSocket upgrade method that takes a status code and a reason that would cancel the handshake. So here you can specify subprotocol, idle timeout and all, and then you can see here I am printing these values that I received here in the on open new resource, and in on text resource I am simply echoing the received text. That is how the WebSocket. To test this server, I have this client, custom client, because we cannot use JavaScript client which do not support custom headers as of now on its own. So I'm using my own JavaScript client. Since it is expecting this header value, here it is expecting this header value, I am using the same header, and the subprotocol is as expected here, and I can, here I have the address as this and city as this. You can give it any value and age. So let me run this. Let me split the terminal as well. Here I will run the server, and let me run the client here. So after the connection you can see this message returned to the client. As soon as the connection is made, this message is returned to the client, and afterwards this the text pushed by the client is returned. If you change the custom header, then you will not be able to complete the handshake. So it invalidated a handshake response, so it returns an error. So you can see that here also, and I can also make an HTTP request to the same server using the same port. For this I will use the curl command. Here I am connecting to the same host name and port name and different path, but it will be an HTTP request. This is going to connect to this resource using a post method that expects a post method, and it is using JSON content. So you can see it received this response from the same server. So that is how you run HTTP and WebSocket on the same server and get all the information from the HTTP upgrade request using a WebSocket in Ballerina. Thank you for watching and subscribe.